Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Inside LSU Baseball. I am your host, Jason Armstrong, and today is the preview for the LSU Oklahoma series that's going to start this Thursday night in Norman, Oklahoma. We're going to get into the preview. First, I want to look at the midweek game. LSU last night improved to 27-3. Getting a 12-3 win over Louisiana Tech. The stars of last night got to start with Ethan Fry. He went 3 for 4 with 4 RBI, including a home run, a double, and a single. So just a triple shy of the cycle. Fry's hitting now 404 on the year, 6 home runs, and just 53 at bats. To give you an idea, that's about half of the ABs that Jared Jones and many of the everyday starters have on the year. So couldn't be happier for Ethan Fry. He's always looked like an incredible player, and now he is hitting as good as he has always looked. Jared Jones also hit a home run, his 11th of the year. And Dickinson had a couple of hits, couple of RBI, which brings him up to 35 RBI on the year, which is second only to Jared Jones, who is leading the team with 45. The pitching was very good. William Schmidt started the game. I thought he looked the best he's looked in a while. The way he was able to actually throw his breaking ball for a strike. Lately, everything's kind of missed high. There wasn't a lot of break on it. He was consistently 95, 96 with the fastball. He just looked a lot more comfortable. He still only finished with under 60% strikes, but it just looked like a different animal. Cooper Williams, who I've been talking about now for weeks, and when he gets out there, he hasn't really backed me up. He looked good. So I was happy to see him throw. Really, everybody who came in, Rizzy came in, looked pretty good. Myers is still having his same, command issues. But everybody pretty much, it was a much better pitch game. Even Dalton Beck came in and looked like a lefty that could potentially help this team. I mean, he's throwing 92 from the left side, and you don't have a lot of options right now from the left side. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with Dalton Beck. Let's get right into Oklahoma so you can know your opponent. Oklahoma's 23-5 on the year. They started the year 11-0. They played in the Round Rock Classic, and they were good. They won the whole tournament. They had a win over Minnesota and then really impressive wins over Oregon State and Virginia, who were both ranked very high at the time. Oklahoma got out to an 11-0 start before losing. They got beat pretty good by Dallas Baptist during the midweek. In SEC play, they're 5-4. All three of the series that they've played so far have come down to the rubber match. So South Carolina, Mississippi State, Alabama, all three series, game 3 decided the series winner. And they've played some really close, even the games that they've lost, they have been right there. I mean, the 2 games that they lost to Alabama, they won the first 2 series against South Carolina and Mississippi State. They dropped a series to Alabama. They lost 2 games. Both of them were 8-6 games. In both games, they had traffic on the bases in the last inning. So now this is a team that after winning the Big 12 last year, the regular season, it's an overhauled team. They have 28 newcomers in 2025. 16 of them are from the transfer portal, and 11 of them are from junior college. That's something that this coaching staff, Skip Johnson, and his staff does really well. And they've brought in a lot of JUCO players that are contributing a lot. I mean, freshmen, some of the newcomers that are playing prominent roles on this team. You've got freshman second baseman Kyle Branch, junior transfer third baseman Dawson Willis. They've both started most of the games. You've got 2 transfer portal outfielders, Trey Gamble, Sam Christensen, first baseman Dayton Taki. All of these guys have started a ton of games, and these are portal guys. Even in the pitching staff, Cade Crossland, who's one of their rotation guys, was the number one JUCO impact transfer arm rated by D1 going into the season. You've got freshman Michael Catalana, Cam Johnson. We all know about Cam Johnson. He's another portal guy that's contributed a lot. Jason Bowden, who was a A&M transfer. This team is full of new players, and a lot of them came from the JUCO ranks. So offensively, they're going to be pretty much in like that, in the SEC of the 16 teams, fall in like that 10 to 14 range of almost all of the different offensive categories, except for triples where they're first, stolen bases they're first, and then for strikeouts they're number 3, meaning they don't strike out quite that much as most of the teams do in the SEC. But they're hitting on the year. Overall, you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 or 10 teams hitting over 300. Oklahoma's at 296. So LSU hitting 338 leads the SEC. It's a good bit higher than Oklahoma. But, they hit in spurts, and they do have some players. I mean, their best players are going to be sophomore shortstop Jackson Willits. He's a switch hitting shortstop. Last year, the second half of the season, he hit 315 with 10 home runs. And that was like after April 3rd. So he had a great second half of the year. So it's a returning player who started a lot. He's hitting 312 on the year, got a team leading 8 home runs, 28 RBI, hitting 343 in SEC play, which is very good. Their other name that you're going to have to know is junior catcher Easton Carmichael. In 2023, he was a Big 12 freshman, all freshman team. Started 60 games last year. Hit 366 with 7 home runs, 19 doubles, 5 triples. 7 home runs, 19 doubles, 5 triples. That's right. And he led the team in amount of hits, in RBI last year. This year he's hitting 310 with 6 home runs, 30 RBI, leads the team, and he's batting 325 in conference play. Willits and Carmichael are 2 very good players. The other one I want to talk about is sophomore center fielder Jason Walk. This is a true leadoff man. He's a switch hitter, played in 42 games last year. He's hitting 307 on the year, and he's leading the team with 9 doubles. He does have 5 home runs. He hit an inside the park home run last week against Bama. So, like, if you dive for a ball in the outfield, he's gone. Got 23 walks on the year, 9 stolen bases. He's off to a slow start in SEC play, only batting 188. But the reason I mention these 3 guys is because any team, if you're strong up the middle, that is an important nucleus of the team. With Carmichael, the catcher with experience, the shortstop Jackson Willits, and center fielder Jason Walk, these are premier defensive players, very athletic, and they're doing it offensively as well. Now, I will say that I believe it's Willits, the shortstop, has had kind of a rough go to the season defensively. He's made 5 errors. I think he's only fielded 950, but this is guy who's going to be a top pro pick in 2026. So good player. Some other good players to know. Junior outfielder Trey Gamble. This is a JUCO transfer that hits left-handed. He's leading the team with a 377 batting average overall, as well as 409 in SEC play. He's 5th in the SEC with a 536 on-base percentage, and he also has 24 walks to just 9 strikeouts. Redshirt sophomore outfielder Sam Christensen, another JUCO guy, hits from the left side. He leads the team with 33 walks. This actually leads all SEC players. He came into the midweek game against Texas Tech tied for 2nd in the SEC with 29 walks. And he walked 4 times Tuesday night. So yeah, I think he's in sole possession with 33 walks. So he's another guy that's very patient and can come up with some big hits. Junior third baseman Dawson Willis is a very good-looking player. He's 6'4", LSU Eunice transfer. He's got a team leading 12 stolen bases. He also leads a team with 33 strikeouts to only 6 walks. So he does have some strikeout issues, but he's got some power. He's only batting 250, but he's batting 300 over the last 5 games. And his last 2 games, he was like 0 for 8. So he went on a real run. And I've seen this kid, man. He can hit the ball. Freshman second baseman Kyle Branch is another name to know. His brother is second-year shortstop at Georgia, Colby Branch. And Kyle Branch is batting 333 on the year. He's 10 for 10 in stolen bases, and he's got a team leading 5 stolen bases in SEC play. Oklahoma has 6 players with 8 or more stolen bases. To give you some perspective, only Jake Brown has 8 stolen bases for LSU. This is a very athletic team that can run. They're very hitterish. Might lack some of the power that you see in a lot of SEC teams, but they're certainly capable of hitting the long ball. Now, in SEC play, Oklahoma's hitting 255, so that's 9th in the league. LSU's batting 310. So there's only 5 teams batting 500 in SEC play. LSU's one of them. So Oklahoma in their 3 series is well below that. They are leading the conference with 18 stolen bases. I think they got 69 overall, which leads the conference. Second, the next closest is Kentucky with 60. And then the third has like 45. So they're well ahead of everybody with stolen bases. Now, pitching-wise, their earned run average, and I'm looking at SEC play because I like to see who is it that they use on weekends, because that's the pitchers that in non-conference you experiment. You'll see guys with a lot of appearances, but when it gets down to crunch time in the SEC, that number shrinks, that circle of trust. And so based on who they're using in conference, their ERA is a little bit above LSU's at 5.24. So kind of middle of, actually that comes in 6th, believe it or not. I mean, there's only 3 teams in conference play with an ERA under 5. Amazing. Teams are hitting 305 against this pitching staff, which is not great news when LSU's coming to town. Now, one stat that tells me that these guys have good stuff is that they lead the conference with 31 strikeouts looking. So that tells me that they're fooling batters, or they've got people, hitters guessing. LSU's second in conference with 30 strikeouts looking. So let's talk about their rotation, because it is a solid rotation. Kyson Weatherspoon is their ace, and he is a legit ace, like top 5 in the country ace. He's 5-1 on the year, 2.31 ERA, and 39 innings pitched. He's got well under that, 27 hits, so well under the amount of hits per, for innings pitched. Only 10 walks to 64 strikeouts, and teams are only batting 189 against him. And in his 3 SEC outings, I mean, he's going 95 pitches in all 3 outings. I mean, in his game against South Carolina, he gave up 3 earned runs. Against Mississippi State, it was a pitcher's duel, a 2-1 game. He only gave up 1 earned run in 6 2/3 inning. Last weekend, Alabama was able to drive his pitch count up, and Justin LeBron got him for a home run. So he only completed 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. But, he averages about 8 strikeouts per start in conference play. He's up to like 97. This might be the best arm we've seen probably up until this point. So game 2, they're going to go with left-hander Cade Crossland, who coming in was just a stud JUCO guy. He's got 4 starts on the year. He's 1-1 with an evil ERA. It's 6.66. I don't like that. So 24 innings pitched, 27 hits, 13 walks to 29 strikeouts. His first outing against South Carolina was very good. He went 4 2/3, and he only gave up, no earned runs. So, I mean, he gave up 2 runs that were unearned. And then against Mississippi State, he only went 3 innings and he gave up 3 home runs. So he gave, that messed up his ERA. When you give up 8 hits and 8 earned runs in only 3 innings, that's going to jack up your ERA. But look, I watched him pitch against Alabama. He went 6 innings and the guy battled. He gave up 2 earned runs. He had 7 strikeouts to 1 walk. And what impressed me, he was up to like 95 late in the game. He's got a very good changeup. You don't see that a lot from a starting pitcher. And he's got a breaking ball. So he's a true 3-pitch mix. And that'll give any team trouble. When you're throwing mid-90s from the left side with a changeup and a breaking ball, and you can throw them all for strikes, that's going to be a tough guy to face. Their Game 3 starter is Malachi Witherspoon. It's a twin brother of Kyson Witherspoon. He's not the same pitcher. He's just really not. I mean, he's another Team USA guy. He can get up. Look, he can hold 95 late in the game as well. Last year, he made 21 appearances, more of as a closer. He's got a 5.74 ERA, 16 walks to 33 strikeouts in 31 innings. But he's gone 4 innings, 4 1/3, 5 innings. Every start's giving up 7 hits. He's going to get 5 or 6 strikeouts, but kind of very similar to Chase Shores, to be honest, if I'm just looking at the numbers. But guy can throw real hard, got some good off speed. But so very, look, it's a good pitching staff, and that's really coming into the year. The question was this offense, and I think the offense has surprised a lot of people. The pitching staff has been pretty good. I mean, they don't have a lot of guys, but the guys that they go to are pretty good. So let's talk about some of their top relievers. And these are the guys, they're going to pitch multiple times in a weekend. This isn't going to be some, guys you see one time. Dylan Crooks, he made 25 appearances last year. He is a true closer. His brother, Jimmy Crooks, played catcher for the Oklahoma team that went to the 2022 College World Series and played Ole Miss for the national championship. He leads the SEC with 8 saves. He's made 7 appearances in the last 10 games, and he's pitched in 6 of their 9 SEC games. He carries a 1.42 ERA and in 19 innings, only giving up 13 hits, 7 walks, 17 strikeouts, and teams are only batting 191 against him. I mean, he's got good stuff. Jason Bowden, he's an A&M transfer. He's pitched in 7 of their 9 SEC games. He's another right-handed pitcher. He actually leads the SEC with 15 appearances. He can get up to 94, 95, good breaking ball. They like to go to him a lot. I mean, and even this next guy, senior left-handed pitcher Jamie Hitt, he started 12 games in 2023, 7 games last year, so he's got a lot of experience. He's tied for 3rd in the SEC with 13 appearances, got a 3.21 ERA, only 6 walks to 17 strikeouts. All of these guys pitch multiple times every conference weekend, so you're going to see all of them. Another name worth mentioning because everybody's familiar with him, Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson started out the year in their rotation. He lost his spot to Cade Crossland. And he actually had some decent, like his first 4 outings, he went 5 innings, 3 of the 4 outings. Listen to this. His last 3 starts, he's pitched 1 1/3 inning in 3 starts. He's gotten 4 outs in 3 starts. He's given up 2 hits, 5 runs, 8 walks, 3 hit batters. So that's 11 free passes in 1 1/3 inning. That is unbelievable. So he's not in the rotation anymore. He's just having a lot of the same problems that he had at LSU. We wish him well when he's not facing the Tigers, but that's the deal with another player with ties to LSU, Landon Victorian, who was committed to LSU, played at Barb. I think he missed his senior year. He had an incident with something in high school. I believe he got expelled, but was committed to LSU, wound up, he's at Oklahoma. He's only made like 1 appearance on the year, so he hasn't really pitched. Now, keys to an LSU series victory. Either win the first 2 games or lose one without burning Evans or Cowan. So I talked about this. The way that this bullpen is set up right now, you better either win the first two games using Cowan one game and Evans the next game, or if you're going to lose one of those games, you better have one of those two guys available going into a rubber match. That's just where you are right now. Now, I love the fact that Jaden Newt, I feel like, is really coming around, and I think that he is going to be one of your guys this weekend that we're going to be able to count on to kind of complement Evans and Cowan. So I'm hoping to see him maybe game 3. But that's one of the keys to the game, to the series. Another key is to make Oklahoma make routine plays. And their 9 conference games, they have made 11 errors. They've not fielded the ball well. So put pressure on them, make them make plays. The next key is for LSU to make the routine plays. Oklahoma is a different type of offense. I'm not going to say they're like Kentucky last year because they don't bunt as much. They don't, it's not as much small ball. Really, as Kentucky 2 years ago. Last year, Kentucky mashed. Oklahoma's 3 conference opponents have committed 14 errors. That's 9 games. Oklahoma has forced their opponents to make 14 errors, in the 3 SEC weekends. So you got to make the plays against these guys. Now, I do like LSU's chances in this series. I think it's a tough one because this is a good team. You're playing on the road. It is a very different style than you're used to. But when it's all said and done, they've got to throw the ball over the plate. I think LSU just has too much offensively. And I think LSU has enough on the mound if you get Anderson back to his normal self, complemented by Cowan. You get Ianson doing what he's been doing with Evans following him. And then you get any combination on game 3. Hopefully by game 3, the series is won. But if not, I think you still have a good matchup with Shores going against Malachi Witherspoon, game 3. So I like LSU to win this series. And that's going to do it for today. Wanted to kind of get through this as quickly as I can so that you've got time to listen to this before the series starts. Like always, we will be back after the series concludes with another recap episode. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and we will talk to you soon.